It's an all-new, no-holds-barred show. Lowell Green taking off the gloves, setting fire to political correctness, and telling it the way he sees it. It's 30 minutes of wit, wisdom, and hellfire. Your calls are welcome at 613-413-2217 or email info@lgreen.ca. Now, here is Lowell Green.
Oh, thank you, John. Now, just before I get into my topic, I have to bring you up to date. As I told you yesterday, we managed to acquire one of the, let us say, less beautiful trees on the market these days for a mere $95. But the tree looks a little better this morning. The branches have come down a little bit. We still haven't decorated. We were really, I think, wondering we really want to leave this thing in the living room, but we will. So it looks a little better. It's still not a thing of beauty by any stretch of the imagination, but we're going to keep it. The smell is still lovely. Now, I want to start today's program with a little Christmas story. A little Christmas story here. A little Christmas story waiting for some music.
Right on cue. Way to go, John. Here we go. There's your music.
Okay, there's a little Christmas story with some Christmas music here, John.
Here comes Santa Claus.
It's there for you, Lowell.
Santa Claus right down Santa Claus Lane.
Blitzen
and Blitzen and all his reindeers pulling on
the rain. Oh my God! Who is that singing?
That'd be Gene Autry.
Gene Autry. My God, I haven't. We used to line up for Gene Autry movies. Unbelievable, Gene Autry. Here comes Santa Claus. Well, I must tell you. Oh, by the way, thanks for really coming up with the proper clue there. Okay.
I'm still learning. How Lowell does his thing. I'll go stand in the corner.
I should make you stand here and stare at my Christmas tree for a while as punishment.
No, not that.
One of the most popular programs that I did back in the good old days of the Green Line, that would be in the 60s and 70s, was Santa Claus, okay? It was the, annual Santa Claus program. Featured well-known actor and a great guy, Bernie McManus. His "bless my buttons" sort of became a standard phrase for the season. Bless my buttons. He was wonderful. A lot of people thought he was the real Santa Claus, which of course he was, Bernie McManus. Kids would phone, and we'd try to engage them in a little bit of conversation before they told Santa what they wanted for Christmas. And I must tell you that some of the conversations, and I have to plead guilty, sometimes I led them into this, but some of the kids' conversations were just hilarious. I mean, the age of innocence can be a beautiful thing, right? Well, one year, my good buddy Paul knows that this program is coming up, so he drops around to the house the night before to inform me that his eldest son, Jamie, is beginning to doubt Santa Claus. He's beginning to ask a lot of questions. And warns Paul, Jamie is going to phone Santa tomorrow on your program, and he is really going to press him on whether, in fact, he is real. So, next day, Santa Claus comes in, and I brief Santa Claus on what I am sure will be this upcoming phone call from Jamie, and I give him a little bit of information. I give Santa a bit of information, including an incident involving a golf ball. So halfway through the program, sure enough, incoming call, there is Jamie. Santa is ready for him. Well, little Jamie, says Santa. So good to hear from little Jamie out there in Canada. And how is Ginger? Who? At this point, you can see Jamie catches his breath, and he's saying to himself, how in the world does Santa know about Ginger, my dog? You can just see like something is flashing through Jamie's mind here. He stutters a little bit. Okay, he says, we're okay here, Santa. Well, bless my buttons, says Santa. And Jamie, you really didn't mean to shoot that golf ball through the kitchen window, did you? At this, Jamie believes his goose is cooked, okay? He's finished. He's fried. There's a quiver to his voice. So Jamie says, "What, Santa? That was an accident." And Santa, not wanting to upset Jamie, says, "Well, bless my buttons, little Jamie. I know it was an accident. You're a good little boy, aren't you?" Jamie sees some light here, okay, and he really perks up. "Yes, Santa, I'm a really good boy." Well, having informed Santa, I did, that Jamie had just taken up golf and we'd be getting a set of new clubs for Christmas, Santa says, "Little Jamie, tell me, what iron did you use when you put that golf ball through the kitchen window?" Oh, there's another sort of hesitation here from Jamie. And Jamie says, "Well, I don't have a set, Santa. I wanted to ask for a new set for myself. That was my daddy's 5-iron. "Well," says Santa, "when you get a new set this Christmas," he says, "I think if you're going to be shooting golf balls around the house, you should use a pitching wedge." "Oh, thank you, Santa. Thank you, Santa," says Jamie. Well, Jamie today has children of his own, and every time we meet, we sort of revisit that story and we get a chuckle all over again. Little Jamie and his golf shot. Oh my God. Those are the memories, folks. Santa Claus. Very historic day in the UK. VE Day, that would be Victory in Europe Day, May 8th, 1945. Some of you will remember. V-Day in Britain, December 8th, 2020. Exciting times indeed. V-Day, Vaccine Day. At exactly 6:31 this morning, local time, 90-year-old Margaret Keenan became the first person in the world to be vaccinated with this newly developed COVID vaccine. She says she's very proud to be the first, and she has urged all others to follow suit. And incredibly, believe it or not, it's hard to believe, but this is true. The second person to get the vaccine in the world is a guy named, believe it or not, William Shakespeare. So already the jokes about the taming of the flu and 2 gentlemen of Corona are making the rounds, as you can appreciate. Millions of people throughout the UK will be vaccinated before Christmas and thus allowed to attend family dinners and parties and travel pretty well wherever they want to go. Vaccinations in the United States expected to begin later this week, as will millions throughout most of Europe and even in Russia, apparently. Here in Canada, well, we may get a few vaccines before the end of this year. Trudeau says about 240,000, which of course would vaccinate 1/2 of that. So we're looking at about 120,000 people. That is 0.03% of the Canadian population. We're all supposed to stand up and applaud, I guess. This, of course, and we've covered this before, so I'm not going to pound it too much, but Trudeau still seems to be getting away with it, we're giving him a free pass. Don't forget that the reason that we're way, 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 way behind most other countries is because Trudeau and his brain trust, this probably would include Gerald Butts, they have twin brains. Trudeau and I don't know if you know this or not, but their brains are twinned someplace, or what may pass as a brain, I don't know. But at any rate, of course, they fiddled and fooled and farted and screwed around with China. They tried to deal with, don't ask me why. Who the hell would know why? They tried to get some sort of a deal with China, which would allow us to manufacture some of this stuff here. But the deal fell through. China doesn't like us, apparently, I don't know what we've done, but we pissed China off, and so they took off, okay, buggered off. No deal. So it wasn't until August that Trudeau finally got around to ordering some, and as a consequence, we're way behind most other countries. But what the heck, okay? Most Canadians seem satisfied with this. Being at the end of the line is okay. Apparently, with most Canadians, we got the new poll out now. Trudeau is more popular than ever. Beats the heck out of me. I don't know about you. Centennial Glass. Look, if you want somebody that you can really trust, if they give you their word, if they say they're going to be at a certain date, if they give you an estimate of the price, if they give you a guarantee, Centennial Glass is going to follow through. This is their reputation. You can trust them. They deal a lot with major commercial firms, a lot of work, for example, in hotels, etc., everywhere. But they do a lot of domestic work as well. And as I say, if they give you a price, they give you a quote, they give you a promise, they will live up to it. That's their reputation. Good people, Industrial Avenue here in Ottawa, and up there in good old, don't forget up in Renfrew as well. They're really starting to do a lot of business up in Renfrew. If it's glass of any kind, folks, of any kind, windows, doors, showers, glass furniture, Centennial Glass. Give them a chance, okay? Now, have we got some, we have some texts, I think, John. Are you awake yet over there, sir?
Yes, I'm awake. I'm listening to every word you say. You got a couple of new listeners today. Lisa and Linda both saying hello to you, so welcome them to the show. Gary would love to see the results in a few months on how the vaccine is working. Terry says, V-Day is great, but just get ready for Trudeau's J-Day, Justin Day.
Every day is J-Day. I've got some really great news. This is news that you will really enjoy, okay? We're being warned that the cost of food, surprise, surprise, will increase about 5% next year. According to a study done by Dalhousie University. It's Dalhousie here in Ottawa, but in the East Coast, it's Dalhousie. Don't ask me why. Okay?
I know why.
Just why? Okay, tell me why, John.
One's the Scottish pronunciation, the other is Irish.
Which one is Irish?
I believe Dalhousie is Irish.
It's not it's Dalhousie.
Oh, jeez, you're just making. I give up.
So the whatever the hell it is, Dalhousie University, Dalhousie University, and the University of Guelph have done a thorough study. They see now, 5% doesn't sound like a heck of a lot, but they say that this amounts to almost $700 a year more for a family of four. Okay. They say that the cost of food in Canada has increased 170% in the past 20 years. I don't think this comes as any great surprise to most. I'm surprised that the increase hasn't been greater than that. One of the things, and here we go again. God, sometimes I wonder if I'm just pounding this too much, but one of the really strange things about this study, University of Guelph and Dalhousie, is that it blames COVID and global warming for some of the increase in the cost. It doesn't mention the main cost of these increased costs, okay? And that is the carbon tax. And don't forget the carbon tax, which is already taking a huge chunk out of us, is going to be increased come April. Another big increase come April next year. It's just, folks, sometimes people just simply don't believe this, but you've got to use your head here. Got to use some common sense. As just one example of how the carbon tax is killing our agriculture industry. And don't forget, most food is grown on farms, right? So if the cost of agriculture, some people don't seem to get this. If the cost of farming goes up, then the cost of food's got to go up, doesn't it? If it costs a farmer more to raise a head of cattle, if it costs a farmer more to raise a bushel of grain, then obviously those costs have to be passed on. Either the farmer passes the cost on or he goes out of business. And we pave over the farm. I don't know. So just as an example, it is estimated that this year, this harvest year, the carbon tax alone, because there are other taxes that farmers have got to pay, but the carbon tax alone on propane to heat the grain in Alberta and Saskatchewan is $7.3 million. So that's on top of all the other taxes and all the other costs. $7.3 million taken right out of the farmer's pocket just for the carbon tax to dry the grain. Almost all farms, you've got to have grain farms. They've got to have big propane heaters. The grain has got to be dried. If the grain goes in even the least bit wet, it'll turn moldy and it's ruined. May even start a fire. So they have to have these huge dryers, which are run by, in most cases, propane. The carbon tax on that in Alberta and Saskatchewan alone, $7.3 million. Well, that cost has got to be passed on. But of course, that's not the only cost. You wonder why food is so expensive. in addition to the propane, the gasoline, the diesel fuel, whatever it is for the tractors, for the combines, carbon tax on that. Then, of course, there's the carbon tax on the gasoline, the trucks to take it to the market, and then there's the additional cost of the diesel fuel or whatever the train has to bring it to some place, and then there's more carbon tax on the truck to truck it to, let's say, grain to the bakery, and then of course, yeah, the bakery has got added costs because he's got to heat. He's got to have the ovens going, extra carbon tax. I could go on and on. And then, of course, there's the truck to take it to the grocery store. And then there's the grocery store that's got to heat and light and carbon tax and all of that. And you wonder why the cost of food is going up. And it's going to go up even more. More carbon tax come April. I just thought that I'd pass that on. By the way, according to this study, the total cost for food and food alone, and that's, by the way, that doesn't include, delivery costs or anything else like that. This is just the food cost for a family of four. Total cost $13,907. Okay, almost $14,000. Food for a family of four. Ah, boy. All right. John, we've got some text coming in here. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Text or call 613-413-2217. Peter Plumley says, oh, yeah, increasing food while Canadians already dig deep. Let's dig deeper. And no one complains. The companies know it and proceed with the increases. Carbon tax, no surprise. Meanwhile, in the U.S., prices are average. And if you go out to eat, you get a huge amount on your dish. But in Canada, let's have the Canadians starve unless they want to drop 20 to 30 a person in a fast food location. Same as banking pay through the nose for banking business. Carbon tax, who's getting the money? Some stop off at the Trudeau Foundation.
This Trudeau Foundation seems to fascinate a lot of people. I've been trying to dig into that. I'm unclear as to exactly how it's funded. We know that some of Trudeau's friends, the Aga Khan, for example, contributed a fair amount. I'm not exactly sure what it's for, what it's accomplished. Is it a charity? If anybody has any information on that, I'm only one guy here. I don't have the resources of the Citizen or CTV, for example. I would sure appreciate any information. By the way, I should mention that I rely to a fairly major degree on information provided to me, leads that people like yourself provide me. There's a lot of people out there with information, and one thing, if you give me the information, you know damn well I will never release my source. I've been doing this for over 60 years, never once in all of that time, despite some pretty heavy pressure to do so, including from my employer. Never. If you give me some information, I'm not going to accept it at face value. I'll check it out, but I will follow it up and check it out. Just thought I'd pass that on. Shields, we're talking about good people who are not gouging you. Shields, they have been doing business for, since 1946 throughout the Ottawa Valley. Very well known, highly regarded, very highly respected throughout the entire valley. We are introducing them now, and apparently quite successfully, in the city of Ottawa as well. Not that some people didn't know about them here, but I think for a lot of people, the idea that you've got a major appliance dealer in Pakenham, little town of Pakenham, comes as a bit of a surprise. But they've got a huge warehouse there, and they are in stock. This is something that Mark Shields has explained to me. They are what's called an in-stock dealership. In other words, they don't have to ship away or request in Toronto or someplace else or Brazil or China for an appliance. They've got them there, right there. And 99.9% of the time, they'll have exactly what you want. And if they don't, by some chance, they will give you a loaner, no cost. They will bring the loaner to you until the one that you exactly want comes in. Shields.ca. That's the website. Give them a check. Check out the website. The prices are all there. The government rebates. Shields. SCHEELS.ca. You've got some more text coming in here, John, my boy.
Craig wants to know if Centennial Glass can replace the trim on a mirror he broke.
Very good question. Give them a call.
I linked the website, so there. Lisa,
I would think so. They certainly repair screens and so forth. I would imagine that they can do that. Give them a call, and I think you might be very surprised. They're really, really good. And you know what? If they can't do it, they'll tell you that. They won't jack you around, okay?
And they'll probably point you in the right direction anyway.
Yep.
Lisa says, when exactly will the COVID vaccine be rolled out? I can just imagine how that will be screwed up. I was supposed to get a flu shot a month ago and was on a waiting list with Rexall. Then it got canceled. Ended up getting a flu shot with OPH in Canada at one of their clinics. Rexall blamed the province's stocks and not ordering enough shots, so all the pharmacies and doctors' offices ran out. I can see all sorts of problems with the COVID vaccine if they couldn't even get the flu shot rolled out properly.
Well, here's what a lot of people don't understand. The federal government ordered the vaccine, okay? It's up to them to order the vaccine. They ordered it very, very late, and very clearly the first vaccines that are coming in, there's not nearly enough. In fact, up until the end of March, there won't be nearly enough even to vaccinate those who are most vulnerable. This is a cause of great concern. But then, very clearly, the federal government doesn't want to be involved in the actual distribution because they know that there's going to be a lot of flack. There's a lot of problems. So they are in essence saying, look, we'll bring the vaccine in. Pfizer or whoever it is will deliver it to 14 different sites, major sites across Canada. Presumably there'll be 2 in Toronto, et cetera, et cetera. So but at that, the federal government is now saying, that's it, we're not going to do anything more. The rest of it is up to the provinces. So the real hard work, the work that probably is going to involve some mistakes, et cetera, is now being left up to the provinces. This is unbelievable that this would happen. Every other country I can think of, the federal government, certainly in the United States, Britain, Germany, Spain, the federal government is taking the bulk of the responsibility. There are some local responsibilities, but in Canada, nope. The federal government, the only job they had, their one job, was to order enough vaccines. They left it far too late, but that's it. Now they say their responsibility is over, and the rest of it is up to the provinces. They are telling us, you can't believe half of what they're saying, but they are telling us that in all probability, we won't have half our population inoculated even by September. I would suspect that by the end of the year, we may have the bulk, but even that, I'm not sure. One thing that's very clear, and that is, well, most of these other countries in the world have fully vaccinated their people. We won't even be half through in Canada. But apparently that's okay with Canadians. Another text coming in here. Yes, John.
This is on Facebook. Lisa follows up on her question by saying, but the pharmacies blame the province.
Yeah, well, the province was responsible for getting the flu vaccine out. There's no question about it.
And we've got a message here from, who's this? This is Paul. It seems to me vaccine distribution is a provincial responsibility.
Well, I don't know. I mean, are you telling me that the federal government has no responsibility? Apparently so. As I say, this is, as far as I know, the only country in the world where the federal government is not taking any responsibility. The one job they had, they screwed up, and now they're going to say they're not going to do anything more. It seems to me, among other things, there should be national standards. Who's going to get it? The timing, et cetera, et cetera. It seems to me these all, there are all kinds of federal regulations that are required. Travel, for example, international travel, that's going to have to be up to the federal government. What's the decision on that? I could go on and on. It just seems to me that there should at least be shared responsibility with the federal government. I think it's too easy for Trudeau to say, I'm Pontius Pilate. I'm just washing my hands of this. We're going to bring the stuff in here. The rest of it's up to you, birds. Now I want to go and do whatever the hell I do in my little cottage. I just don't think that's right. Could be wrong. Been wrong a couple of times in my life. Now, another story. By the way, we're still waiting for a phone call here. Nobody got any thoughts on any of this? Here's a story that I suspect you will love, okay? As more evidence of the excellent planning that goes around here, particularly as it applies to the running of OC Transpo. Yesterday, we told you that our buses and light rail is losing about $4 million every single week. That's about $208 million a year. Apparently, we're not taking into account the fact that ridership is way down for a variety of reasons. despite that, they're still planning, I guess, as though ridership is going to be continuing to grow. It's not. So despite the fact that we're losing $4 million a week, we all see empty or near empty articulated buses, double-decker buses, patrolling the streets near me here, nearby Canada, Stittsville, Bell's Corners. And I'm sure the same thing is applying elsewhere. Empty or near empty buses of all sizes, mostly big, patrolling the streets at night, totally unnecessary. And for some reason, they don't change it. I don't know. So, well, actually, we're going to make some changes here, okay? Not apparently, we are going to order 2 electric buses. Unbelievable. These electric buses cost, wait till I get the figure here right. Let me see. Over $2.5 million each. So we've ordered 2 electric buses, $2.5 million each. How long the batteries will last on these, I don't know. Now, the reason I ask, I've got to refresh your memory a little bit concerning our city's experimentation with electric buses. Back just a few years ago, between 2008 and 2010, we taxpayers, largely at the insistence of city council lefties like Alex Cullen, we bought 175 hybrid buses. That is, buses run by both diesel and battery powered. State of the art, we were told. This is really going to cut down on global warming, blah, 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 blah. Well, they lasted 3, in some cases, maybe 4 years. And then we had to replace the batteries. Batteries had run out. How much does a battery cost? $40,000 per bus. So the city said, geez, we got 175 buses here. They all need new batteries. We're looking at $7 million just to replace the freaking batteries. So they considered for a while, maybe we'll convert these buses to all diesel. They did the costing on that, I guess, and decided, no, it doesn't make any sense. So what did they do? They took the 175 hybrid buses and they parked them out on the field where they sit. They tried to pawn them off to sell them at pennies on the dollar, but no other community was dumb enough to take them. So they sit there, starting to rot, get moldy. Now, apparently, they're going to ship them off for scrap. 175 hybrid buses. More texts coming in here. John Melky.
An email to Lowell at BlastTheRadio.com. Lowell, I'm sure only the City of Ottawa could run a public transportation service at 25% of capacity for a full year and pay $16 million in overtime. I'm so glad I moved out of Ottawa. Rob in Carleton Place.
That overtime figure, now, that's new to me. I wonder where he got that. Oh, $16 million in overtime. But can you imagine? I mean, there's sitting out there in a field 175 buses that were state of the art in 2010. They were only on the road for 3 or 4 years. I mean, very clearly, nobody at the city bothered to cost out the price of replacing the batteries. So after 3-4 years maximum, the batteries run out. They're $40,000 each. That's $7 million to replace the batteries, to say nothing of all of the other maintenance costs. So they just took 175 buses out of service and parked them out in the field. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Oh, my God. $23 million it cost us to buy those, and we just, bye-bye. Bye-bye. More texts coming in here.
On Facebook, Terry's asking if Energizer Bunny batteries won't work, and also, how about jumper cables? Terry's got solutions.
Solutions are good. And by the way, the city, in its infinite wisdom, the same city that's now running OC Transpo at a loss of $4 million a week, ordered 175 buses, which are now sitting rotting, has agreed to buy 2 fully electric buses at a cost of $2.5 million each. A regular diesel bus is about $630,000. The all electric is about double that, about $2.3 million. So we've ordered 2 of these buses, okay? I have no idea how long the batteries last. Does anybody? And not only that, but we have agreed that only electric buses will be purchased in 3 years' time. So in 3 years' time, we're only going to purchase electric buses at over, by that time, you can be sure, close to $3 million a bus. All electric, they say, by 2035, which, among other things, other than just the cost, begs the question, why? I mean, have we actually done some real thinking about this? They say, well, it's better for the environment. Really? Don't forget that electricity's got to be produced. It's got to be transported through the grid. The grid's got to be expanded. There's a lot of environmental work goes on there. It may be that it's better for the environment. I don't really know, and I doubt very much if they do. So, but apparently we're prepared to invest 23, 24, 25, God knows how many millions of dollars. And we're not, and the sole purpose, because, I mean, let's face it, the ride is no better in a diesel than it is in an electric. A little quieter, but that's it. But now, by the way, oh yeah, I forgot to mention. 2 months ago, John Monconi, head of OC Transpo, said that electric buses wouldn't work in this market. 2 months ago, he says, the head of OC Transpo says, no, the routes are too long. We'd have to repower too often, recharge too often. They won't work. 2 months later, we're ordering electric buses and agree to buy only electric in 2 years' time. More emails coming in here. John.
Got a follow-up from Rob in Carlton Place as to where he got the $16 million in overtime. It's from an article in the Ottawa Citizen dated yesterday, December 7th,
okay.
Titled, It Can't Be Business as Usual at OC Transpo.
All right. Thank you very much. Our time is up here. Thank you all, folks. By the way, do the city a favor. Jump on a bus just for the hell of it, okay? I can't think of any other reason. Thank you. Well, we'll be back tomorrow.
Thanks for tuning in to the new No Holds Barred show on BlastTheRadio.com. And get the show on demand with the Lowell Green Podcast. Available on iTunes, Spotify, Google, and more.